Hello, everyone. Oh God, everything is black. Oh God, okay, the void has consumed us here. Oh God, there we are. Hello, everyone. My name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be going through a game that I wrote a while ago. It's been September 20. Oh Lord, it's been what? About 4 months since I wrote Project Deep Sea as a commission project for some people, and it was the next on the list of things to do. Hello, Salmon. How are you? Apologies for starting a little bit late. I've had a headache all day, but the problem is I don't know how to get rid of this headache because it's one of my weird headaches that I get every now and again. So let me just snap everything back into place. But yeah, no, things have been going pretty all right. Now, I wrote this game as a commission a few months ago, and I kind of enjoy it. It was a weird little project with one stipulation being that it had to be a D20 game. However, that was it. D20 game and set in this world of Wadanohara and the Great Blue Sea. For those who don't know about Wadanohara and the Great Blue Sea, here's me ranting about things, is that it's a Japanese doujin game. Not doujin is that way, you perverts. Fucking oof, Salmon. Oof. That's all I gotta say about that. I don't have brain cancer. Pretty much what happens is the muscles in my back, my shoulders, they lock up, and it goes all the way up my neck, right into the back of my head. And there's no really good way to get rid of it. I just kind of have to wait it out. So it's one of those things that I just kind of gotta hope for the best. I might take a hot shower or take a walk later tonight. That sometimes helps. And the reason that it does that is my body likes to freak out when it gets a little bit stressed, and I don't know, it just randomly gets stressed every now and again. It's great. I love it. I should. But Wadanohara I'd never actually even heard of this game before I actually started working on this project for someone. And after doing I did a lot of research on it, did a lot of little bits and pieces on it to get it to way that they would have wanted it. And we worked pretty closely together. They liked it. They were a bit quiet on things, but I think they were more impressed that I was even taking on such a project. And here's what I can do. We are going to make a copy of this. And call this the based version. Project D, as you can even kind of call the name of the project isn't actually anything important. Based. But it was a weird setting. It's a setting that I got into and I enjoyed. And I enjoyed the concepts. I enjoyed the things about it and the weirdness behind things. Their stipulations weren't actually too hard to actually go through. They just wanted a game. They wanted a tabletop game to mimic the game, which easier said than done because of the nature of the game, which was an RPG Maker game. In addition to be not only an RPG Maker game, an RPG Maker game with a very focused story. So it's like, okay, how do you make a tabletop game with from something with a very focused, very single-purpose story? And I managed to get something done. Yeah. Yeah. I also learned gradually as I went through, you know, time and space and all that jazz, that Deep Sea Prisoner is notorious for their, I won't necessarily call it edge factor, but I will definitely call it something that resembles an edge factor. They do like their things going wrong, and for those who've never played the game, there's a distinct tone shift halfway through the game. A very distinct tone shift. And that's on purpose. And every single one of their games, every single one of their stories has that same tone shift somewhere in it. So it's like, oof, alright. So I needed to kind of get that tone shift there in addition to the story's already present. But let's go. What this stream is very simply, we are going to go through and we are going to mark down and see where we stand, effectively. Where are we and what the plan is going forward, actually fixing this game. And I even predicted that this won't be a very big fix project. It's a Redux project in name. However, overall, I'm not expecting that much to do with it because of its nature of, it was A, a commission project, and they liked what they got, and B, I don't know the setting flawlessly. I know it enough to be dangerous, and I enjoyed some of the parts of it. So I was like, alright, let's see what we can do. Let's try to find the oddities in there, see what I can explore. So, it also had to be a D20 game, which really kind of fucked with me in a bit. Let's see, tolerance of juxtaposition. If to equal than the target number set by the narrator, character succeeds. If it is less, the character fails. And post check. Fairly bog standard D20 system. We would have they insisted on having crits and fumbles. That was one thing. I wouldn't say I don't like D20. I would say D20 has its own quirks to things. Because it's not a distribution curve at all. It's a flat. You have a flat value for everything. You have a 5% chance of rolling a 1 as much as you have a 5% chance of rolling a 20. And some of the... There are bits and pieces to that system that people like. There's a reason D&D is incredibly popular with the D20. It's because people like that. I don't, because it makes... Sometimes it makes some gameplay systems harder, because there's only so much you can do with a single die. But like a D6 system, like a 3D6 system, for example, you can do dice tricks. Okay, re-roll a die, you know, remove a die, you know, add another die to it, and that. Like there's things you can do with that you can mix things up with. D20, you don't really get that. It's just D20, get above a number. But that's what they wanted. But so I worked with it. And they also wanted the crits and fumbles. That was a thing they really wanted, and I put it in there, and I had to put this in here for my own sanity. They don't apply to opposed checks, because I'm not a fan of crits. If you actually look through any of the games I write, I rarely put in crits or fumbles or anything like that. I never have liked those. Let's see. Oddity, stranger, creative, the deep sea. They'll have to acknowledge two distinct things. First, which is the central character. Yeah, there are things that, like, all of these characters can suffer in that game. And I don't mean like, ooh, woo, look at anime suffer. I mean like people are like getting very hurt very quickly. It's like, oh no. Oh no. The weirdest part about making this game is that I had to make the witch their own independent thing versus the familiars. Like, overall, the only ones who the only familiars that actually have like a lot of story going for them are these two. I can see that's some Kichi. Fuck, what's his name? I can see his name, but that's Dolph. That's all. That's Dolph. That's all I remember. All right, let's see. Each attribute is rated for -5/5, range from absolutely terrible to paragon of the attribute. Character creation, all attributes start at 0. -3 for one additional attribute point. I didn't really go in the I didn't really flex my creative muscles, one might say, because these are fairly bog standard attributes that I used. So let's see. Physical condition, fitness, high body, physically fit, low body, education, pretty basic, personality, reflexes, spirit. Yep. Nothing I could really do. Skills. Alright, so character attributes and their natural ability. Skills are picked up and learned throughout the character's lifetime. They are first plentiful to represent the skills called for. Doubles the attribute they are using. If skill has X next to it, it is considered a field from which the character has to specify. The character is called upon personality check. If they have diplomacy skill, they are allowed to double their personality score and add it to their check. So I'm going to put the fixed skills up a smidge because skills were never supposed to be like this central factor in it. But you have to put skills in, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put skills in. And they were kind of there because there wasn't any, I didn't want this really hardcore system of like 1s and 2s and 3s to put, bring up, bring down. So it's like, okay, how about just double it? Which actually works, but the problem is I have to remember that there's gonna be negative attributes, which, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, let me actually, let's see. Doubles our attribute. Note about negative attributes. I don't know how I want to actually fix up the skill system, but it gives me an idea of something I have to look at. Let's see, do I have... We got some education skills, personality's got a decent amount, spirit's got... we can actually... More skills here? Question mark. Yes, my two favorite witches. The Gore Witch and the Candy Witch. Yeah, if I remember correctly, her name is literally Bloody Mary. And her entire thing is that she's the Gore Witch, and that's what she does. It's like, oh. It's like, wait a second. This game isn't as funny and exciting as I was originally thinking it was. Bound to that particular... Only match go off of their particular domain. I'm creating a witch for Picadome. It's a witch, and only she and her descendants possess such power over it. It is also bound to a particular domain's problems and issues. So Witch of the Wood is going to be a central figure in the woods, while Witch of the Flame is going to have to deal with issues regarding fire and flame-based accessories. So when designing which characters, keep in mind their power and they're a master of their domain. Everything inside it is their plaything. And the various familiars, otherwise known as "Hey everyone." I mean, I think Randy would, like that. I think there are a few posters in the Merchants Guild who would probably enjoy Bloody Mary, she coming to visit them in the middle of the night to steal their meat. But I mean, just look at it. Isn't she so kawaii and gap moe? Also, there's the candy one. If you like candy, I also noticed her eyes look like candy. That's horrifying. Let's see. Characters who taking the role of which is familiar is taking the role of the protector, guardian, and emotional support. It's a familiar contract. It's been sealed. The partner are bound until death. Most individuals in the world are animal people, taking the forms of either talking animals or humanoid variations of animals. This was one of the parts that really confused me about the setting of being less like, yes, here's a fish. Okay, the fish is here. Oh, the fish's name is Martin. Oh, he's just a normal guy? Yeah, he's just a fish. And here's his daughter, this anime girl. I'm like, wait a second, that's not how this goes. I have several questions. Animals affiliated with a unique skill tied to their animal background. The skill is not tied to any particular attribute. It can be used at any point when it becomes relevant. Fixie. Animal familiars are revert to their animal forms. Why does there are moments throughout the game where familiars are able to revert to their animal forms. EIR. Their animal form. Why this occurs, one may ask. I don't know. Deep Sea Prisoner does not want to address it. It just works. However, all actions that can be formed by the animal cannot be formed by the character. That animal until they turn back. Essence, but the witch and their familiarity usually manipulate the arcane energy inside them to affect the world around them. All characters have magic points which reflect their magical energy. Ability to cast spells on one another and their enemies. If a character does not have enough MP to cast their spells, they may opt to take the remaining MP using their health instead. Oh, geez. Yeah, I had to account for this just to make sure witches have literally something in regards to it. Because let's what do you do if a witch is going to take a negative to their spirit? And if they take a negative to their spirit outside being dumb, you gotta account for it. Manipulating and all the witches' spells have an aspect of their domain in their spells regardless of other domains they learn. Alright. Disposition. Add more. Expand it out. The disposition, this was actually added a little bit later. And the idea was, it was a method for people to gain and lose their trauma. Because that's a very big thing in the Wadanohara, the verse, is that people get very sad or people get very happy. And things go up and down. So it's okay, you gain trauma if they're stuck in location for too long. Lose trauma if they discover new. So expand it out, detailed. I think a little bit more detail here might be good, because this is a lightweight game. Lose someone with protect their allies, empath, jokers. I also had to use Lisa artwork throughout this thing, because Lisa was probably the next best thing in regards to actual health. So let's see, even characters are not immortal. Included enhanced lifespan. Taking too many arrows, sword strikes, or razor sharp tails to the chest can lead to an early grave. Character's health is measured in 6 wound tiers, with each tier being equal to 4+ bod for witches or 6+ bod for familiars. Each tier is reduced down to its penalty all rolls until it's healed. And clean that up a little bit. 0 mortal wounds, bod turns unless they're stabilized by an ally. A character that is tactical down is instantly killed. Up to pass out immediately, taking them out of the fight, but they suffer bleeding out, do not need to be stabilized by an ally. Okay. This is when Hey, Lisa. I actually have a Lisa game in the work. Like, it's there. I have the ideas. I think I can do it. It was sponsored by, it was inspired by a thread I found on TG, actually, about them wanting to make, they want, like, oh, let's make at least a tabletop game, like an RPG, where all your attributes are effectively your gang, and everyone was like kind of like a gang. I'm like, that's kind of a weird idea for an RPG, but like, that could actually be kind of a little fun war game set in the Lisa universe. So I have Lisa Badlands Rumble there. I'm probably going to attempt to go for like a Mordheim or Necromunda style of things. With, like, oh, here's like you advancing your gangs, and here's you kind of making sure, like, oh, your war boss is his own character throughout a campaign, like a series of fights with your friends. If it works, it's going to be awesome. If it doesn't work, I can believe. Let's see, mental trauma. Okay, Okay, is this... Yeah, I'm going to expand this out. Integrating a tier system as well? Question mark. Completely shutting down. The effect of trauma does not occur until it reaches 10, from which the character becomes emotionally vulnerable and their disposition is considered broken. Cannot be repaired until outside force reduces their trauma. Try to exemplify their disposition failures results in increase their trauma gained. Like, I like this idea right here, but like actually putting it in game. Good idea, bad execution. Like, The idea behind trauma in this game was to have that slow degradation of your mind as you're going through it. Because in Wadanohara, like, you start off and like, ooh, look at me, I'm a kawaii anime girl who's a little bit sad that her boyfriend doesn't want to hang out anymore. It's ooh, ooh, woo, I'm not very happy. And like, by the end, you are such a broken mess. Like it's like things have taken so bad turns, and it's like, okay, congratulations, you are now the single most important individual here, and I wanted to get that system across, and this isn't a good way of doing it. You know, it's this ending, the Red Sea Witch ending. Let's see. Either one of them commit. Red Sea Witch ending has mixed notes. I'll take advantage of her to change the relationship as well as her disposition. Blue ending has her following through an empathetic disposition to sacrifice herself for everyone. Trauma forces you to either act in a method that may ultimately hurt you or those around you, or to be left to manipulation of others. How do I want to do this? I do not know, but I think I want to tie a little bit, some more numbers behind things, just to kind of represent the gradual degradation of your character psyche, of like you going just a little bit, acting a little bit more irrationally, you acting just a little bit more 110% on your disposition, because I think that could be interesting. How to do that, it needs to be a carrot and stick scenario. And which carrot, who has a carrot and who has a stick, is very different. When it comes, when it comes to manipulation of the arcane lens and tapping the magic, difficult to be the most experienced non-witch musicians. Yeah, I forgot I put in like an entire like create your own spell system in this game. Vein of magic, specific vein of energy. Not a domain. However, each domain has two applications that they are unable to properly employ the domain's nature. On the other hand, domain has two applications that you're considered proficient in, and reduce the mana cost by 5. A character without a domain may use every application, but does not possess any advantages or disadvantages. Overhaul if need be. So I love create your own magic spell systems and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Affiliate stores 0 in a domain that does not present the actual magic, well, which begins play at 3 in their chosen domain. I think if I'm going to change anything, it's probably going to be somewhere around here. Like, this was my balancing factor, but things got a little bit wonky at some points. Use the system creating custom spells. Unnecessary MP, as well as the ability to actually cast a spell and not have it sputter. Creating a spell, consult the following chart. It's not that, man. Just every subsequent application costs an additional 5 mana to add. Equal to potency. Enchantment heal equal to potency. The potency number by a number of dice size independently from one another to determine the overall power of the spell. Yeah, okay, we were using SD in this game, weren't we? Yeah, okay. 9 plus 6, fully cast quite a lot, but 64, 18 mana. School's Find was most comfortable and effective for the spell in question. Costs 15 mana to cast quite a lot, but a 64... fix wording. Fix wording! Here, Notepad. Please. Would it be stupid? Radius. What I'm thinking about actually adding is I might have to add in a... Witches have spells, familiars can have spells, but their main thing is going to be abilities. That they're going to effectively have like a custom thing to do. It's not as extensive in its creation as, say, a spell. However, it's the idea of, okay, I am a familiar and I have a sword, and my entire thing is I am good at being a swords person. I'm gonna, like, I have an ability that I have at first level that allows me to triple slash or something. You know, just something like that to give them, get that RPG feel a little bit more. That might not be a terrible idea. Radius spell. This specific radiating is overall cheaper, but can affect allies and enemies in the same way, while aimed is more expensive to hopefully avoid friendly fire. This incredibly janky method. Bit jank. The idea here was to how do you make a fireball explode outward, and it was, let's say, for example, we have our fireball here. How do you get it to, like, radiate to out? If you're doing it aimed, you could just do that. However, if it's not that way, however, to radiate it another way out, it would be different, effectively. You look something more like this. Yeah, it's like, how do you do this properly is... Look at that, how to do custom spells. That might not be a bad idea to look at that. Also Toho, because we can never escape Toho. Duration lasts after it's been cast. Longer spells, more men up front to cast. However, it's cheaper than recasting the same spell multiple times. Yeah, the idea here, I hit you with a fire. It does X damage. Okay, delivery method is how the deliverer must employ the spell. He'll actually employ its use. A character outside of the delivery cannot cast the spell successfully. Cast detonation. They detonate the spell at will. Trigger activate when a trigger is activated. Caster employ additional steps and procedures to quickly or slowly cast the spell in a more efficient, less efficient manner. Using the spell, they may take the penalty to cast. Redux, redux, and relook. You're supposed to be heading 3. To successfully cast a spell, this is referred to as complexity, which, like, this is the one thing, like, I was not... entirely in. Complexity was kind of a sticking point for me. So sticking point. And the main reason was that it had this weird incentive that it was easier to cast. It was easier for low-level mages to cast consistent spells and high-level mages to cast higher-level spells because you have, again, the target number to actually cast. So it's like, okay, there has to be a better way of doing this. I don't know what that is. So here, yeah, my example spells. I have Gold rank 3, Protect Self, Potency D6, Range 0, Radius 0, Duration 4, Touch Delivery, Intricacy -3, 15 mana, target number 10. Boom. 18 mana. Neutral 1. Okay. Character player key spell they're comfortable with. You don't need to go through the process for every single spell. If you want to change something, just edit out the pre-written spell to augment damage. Yeah. A rote system might not be the worst idea, because the idea behind it reminds me of Mage the Ascension? Yeah, Mage the Ascension. Where the idea is that you have your rote spells. These are the spells that you like consistently use rather than building a spell each time. These are just something that I know by hand, and I think that might be handy to actually put in as like a legit system, which may be able to solve the complexity issue. Being like, if you have it's a rote spell, instead it's like the target number is reduced by 5. Higher level people have higher number of rote spells. That might work. It's not flawless, but it might work. Let's see. Other peers. In this connection, level familiars. Add more people to the ensemble. Blood, hatred, salad, how they feel about one another, and how they will approach each other in situations. These regain trauma depending on the action. Other switch things around to accommodate, make the game. The web relations your own. Larger factions. Yeah, this was the example. The example which was Ninsan. Yeah, Ninsan, who was pretty much a member of the Department of Magical Currencies. And their entire relationships with one another and their complex, weird friends of like, oh, hey, her mom, Shara is dead, but, they hate the Silver Witch because you're the Gold Witch. And like, oh, hey, there's this weird relationship here of like, mother and son, the Copper Witch, yeah, we got, again, you have all these really weird little things. I'm like, yeah, let's fuck it, let's go. Let's see what we can do. Oh, this is when I had the action sequence upright and running. Yeah, like it's what I do for these usually is I literally just draw a bunch of circles in a paint.net document and then draw lines to them randomly and then kind of just come up with it as I go. Like overall the main characters are like here. It's these 4. Ninsan, Tora, Mercy, and Tanya. Those are your 4 main characters, but it's like, alright, here's all of these people, and here's all of these people that you have to deal with. Oh, we can't forget about the literal, boss, boss Tanaka, who is like, let's see, action sequence, forced to defend themselves, and around is all the characters' actions. Okay, who acts first? Basic initiative order. Initiate when the characters encounter hostile first, which is to injure, maim, or kill them. Each character in combat has a survival rating, which is their ability to avoid getting hit. Character's SR is equal to 5 minus armor score plus reference time, reflex times 2. What is this calculation? Notepad. Notepad, what is this? What was I thinking? What was I drinking here when I decided to make that your basic fucking like armor class system? 5 minus armor score plus reflex times 2. What is this? Also, what's the amount of damage that character reduces when they hit? Character's DR is equal to the bod plus armor protection. Protection spells increase. SR. Oh, jeez, no. I was drinking something good when I was writing this. I should rewatch the VODs for this, like, Notepad. Notepad. Oh, okie dokie. Perform a major and minor action. Can be subbed out for a minor action needed for certain actions. Character can choose both their minor and major. Or special move. Action. Minor actions? Question mark. See, if I really wanted to be like just go pull the devil trigger and get real weird, I could probably add in like melee rounds from Palladium to make things go real wonky. But I don't think that's appropriate. We got our basic ones, D6 to attack check. Why is... No, okay, wait a second. Yeah, you can do attack, but you're using a ranged weapon. Yeah, I need to clarify these, because the idea behind these is just like, here's an attack, but I'm going to use my minor action instead to add like the aim or the brutal strike or the melee surge. And like Overwatch, like that's kind of the idea there on the fans. This is when I invested in like the fucking dive thing. I was obsessed with that for some reason. I was just like, I must add this into everything because this is a genius idea. Man, I thought I was really smart when I came up with that idea. Retool and clarify. Retool and clarify some parts. I might just have to rewrite the entirety of the combat section. Not change anything, just take away bits and pieces. Also, which space distance are we using here? Okay, we should be using the new space distance. Yeah, this goes all the way up to 7, not old space distance. Or more accurately, Grug space distance. Let's see. Yep. Lack of experience with grids. Small enemies fit multiple units. Large enemy take firing into a brawl zone. -3. Status effects. There's the gear witch. That's the snow witch. Oh god, the status effects. Large blunt object. Character transformed into something harmless. They cannot act except when moving, or transform value turn slow. Remix. Tire a bit. This was my attempt at the Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition like skill challenges system, because I'm like, this is something I need to put in, because I was like, oh well, there's nothing like this in any of my games, so I decided to put it in. It's not really, it's not complex. It's just like, oh, a thief stole a nearby citizen's bag and is currently sprinting through the streets. Ref obstacle bot can be used as well. The character has 5 rounds, catch the thief before they slip away. Managing a kitchen. Let's see, cooking the meal, serving customers, managing the back. Trying to resolve something in a single roll. Have the character go through a small series of obstacles to fill out the session. These aren't supposed to be major things. They're prohibited from performing their duties. Provide sense of risk and speed to otherwise mundane tasks. Using obstacles as much or as little as you want. Proving yourself advancement. Oh, I went with this method, didn't I? I went with, this is from, Tabletop Online. I went with this idea of being like, every single weapon is tied to a weapon class's size, so you can have something like a long axe that's super heavy, that does super heavy damage, but something's usable by a witch. No. Witches don't actually get that much to play around with, but they're not supposed to. This is almost taken 1 for 1. Oh god, did I put guns in this? I beep. No, I don't think I did put guns in this one. Are guns canon? Let's see. Gun. Gun. No, does not look like... guns are a thing. However, it does appear that you can... I always forget you can use a chainsaw in this game. How little do I forget? Of course Beep is in this game. Why wouldn't Beep be in here? Beep is the best character. He's the best swordsman. But okay, so you can't use guns in your Animu bullshit game, but that was like one, I remember that was one complaint that they leveled against me, being like, oh well, why can't I use the fucking chainsaw move? Because that's just an item. Just also here's your anime girls. You like your cute anime grills? I like cute anime grills. Oh, you want to see your MILF mom? Oh, wait a second, I forgot it's a fucking crab or lobster. It's like, oh god, come on. it's like, oh Jesus, yeah, that's one of those things that like always flummoxed me about Wadanohara, is that it's just like, oh yeah, here's Anime Grill. I'm like, okay, here's her mom, and she's a lobster. I'm like, okay, does she have like a human? No, she's just a giant lobster. I'm like, all right, this is fine. This is fine. Nothing is wrong here. What I should do, more weapons for the weapon gods. So yeah, am I going to be adding a chainsaw to this game? Yes. You will be able to use a chainsaw. Will I be stealing it from Hearts of Darkness? Probably. This is from Senator Kagura, I believe. So I'm like, I need something to fill out this page. Why not big titty anime girls? Fuck it, why not? We live in a society. Let's see. Characters DR is added to that. A lot of Kenshi artwork, but I like Kenshi. I could probably expand out the armor. Expand out. My shield autism. I don't know why I decided to add like a fuck ton of shields to one game. It was Tabletop Online. I decided to add a bunch of shields for literally no reason. So, yeah. Are there rules for having a Rondosh shield? Yes, there is. There are rules to having one of these fucking things. Is there literally a... let's see if I can find one of my personal... A scruntum shield. Yes, there are rules for that. Why? I don't know. Good old Centauri-shan. Yeah, stops character from bleeding, stores 1d3 health, slow status, take an extra major or minor action. Oh yeah, here's the big thing here. I'm just gonna type expanding out. This is the exploration. Traversing various worlds is an arduous task. Far horizons, but an adventure that is planned for how long it takes. Time increments. I could probably add a lot of other little places here to give a little bit more thing, to give people a little bit more oddity, like just how strange and mystical it is, and also expand out the actual ocean traveling sections, because in this game called Deep Sea, I have no rules for ocean travel. That was when I was going through all of these to determine, like, okay, what needs a redux, what doesn't, I realized that key little factoid about my life, and realized that my life was a lie. I'm like, yes, I can't forget the beautiful jungle ocean. Let's see, time increments. Yeah, all this from Ryutama, which Ryutama is a fantastic RPG, and I love it to death. If a character increases the time they spend on the leg of the journey, they increase the number of times they're allowed to roll against. Journey encounters. Particular situation. Example encounter leads to their destination. The characters can attempt brute force throw, challenging 90 body check to ford the river or some or equal to difficulty of their traveling supplies of makeshift crossing. Supplies, abstract collection tool rations. All right, yeah, no, the traveling mechanic, I didn't quite know what to do with it, to be honest. And I think I might just expand it out, see what I can do with it, fix it up, probably put it right back into lexicon more than anything. My big list of just like random mechanics I've assorted over the years. Yeah, here's the lexicon. Yeah, my big list of stuff and mechanics. Which I need to fix the D2000 system up one day. One day. You can't hurt me if I don't see it, right? Right. Villain. So, this is stolen from MGA almost entirely, but I think it works. There's milestone 0 to 2. Powerful rogue familiar, corrupted wizard. Minions. Solo game, so minimize minions. Cut through the minions or rangers, pick them out with valuable strategy, land big damage dealer, deal major threats. Swarms, out of the fight and killed. My entire thing on mega monsters, because I was obsessed with mega monsters for a while there. my kaiju fighting days, I guess. And I love these pieces of artwork. I always have really enjoyed it. The guy who does these is a bit weird sometimes, but I enjoy the aesthetic, you could say. The aesthetic. I think that's it. So, overall, we've got quite a few notes sprinkled throughout here, and I think the overall part with Deep Sea, as we speak, is there needs to be a little bit. It's a lot of cleaning at this point. It's a lot of taking the parts that are already there, that already work, that already are functional, and just making them better. It's adding things that need to be there. It's phasing into non-existence. All right, there we go. And Deep Sea Endless Voyages. There we go. Deep Sea Endless Voyages working. There we go. My nice pretty. Originally that was supposed to be a yeah, let's see. But right now it's fixing things like magic, adding things like skills to give Because right now it's weird because like the witches are powerful and they do a lot of things, but they're also really weak. They have to rely on their familiars to keep alive, but the familiars can't do much. So I think adding that skill system may not be the worst idea. And like I need to redo skills just to make those better because they're kind of weird disposition. It's a lot of just cleaning at this point. It's cleaning and patching. Originally, this was, again, supposed to be a giant Ocean Man reference, but I couldn't fit everything I wanted to in there. So instead, it's this. More tools, fixing, traveling. I could probably add some more bits everywhere, but overall, things are going good. So what's the goal for right now is this Friday, I'm going to work on, I want to see how far I can get through this. I want to just do a Notepad must die and just rip and tear my way through everything I can. Actually, not even a Notepad must die, just go through everything and just top down and just fix things. Fix, patch, make things pretty. And judging by the pure number of just things, I'm saying probably at 2 to 3 episodes. No more, no less. Originally, I was like, oh, 2 to 3 episodes counting this one. Probably not. There's a little bit more than I was planning on. But it's a lot of little things. And little things are a bitch. And they're a bitch because it's a lot of... Those little parts build up the bigger parts. And if you tweak part A a little bit, that means part B is going to be we have to tweak that a little bit more, and then you realize part Z down the road needs to get tweaked a lot. So it's going to be me very slowly going through just, with the wrench. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be great. So, thank you all for watching. I know this wasn't exactly the most entertaining or exciting stream I've ever had, but you don't come to these streams for sick plays and speedruns. Yeah! No, you come here to listen to a drunkard rant and complain and talk about anime girl suffering. That's what you come here for. I could if I really wanted to do a complete RPG speedrun, that might be... I could be... let's see if I can find the 24-hour RPG challenge. Where is it? Alright, there we go. Here we go. If I really wanted to, and I do mean, like, this is a Dante must die moment, I could open this up, the 24-hour RPG prompt. We roll our 3D 500, and we see if we can't get an entire game done in one stream. That would be, that's a Saturday challenge if I've ever heard of one. Just go till I burn out. But screw it, I think I might do that, fuck it. Yeah, screw it. This Saturday. That's what we'll do. We'll do a Notepad's RPG speed run. See how much we can get around in the 24-hour RPG challenge. See how much we can do with it. Fuck it, why not? Step on the gas, deja vu. Don't worry. See what we get. Roll poorly, cry a little on the inside. It shouldn't be too difficult if I'm gonna have to consult the lexicon for things, but if I just bolt through things, it would literally be a challenge of taking little parts and seeing how fast you can go with it. How quickly can you design basic mechanics? How quickly can you get, like, the concepts in place? That's what it would be at the end of the day. And yeah, I think I could probably do it. This Saturday, screw it. We got our Saturday stream, boys. So, thank you all for watching. It's been fun. I will catch you all on the flip side. This Friday, we're going to be working on Wadanohara. And Saturday, we're going to be doing the Notepad Must Die stream, where we speedrun writing a game. God help us all. Alright, well, thank you all. Oh, what have I signed myself up for? Alright, goodbye.